After a hectic week in our high school, Andrew and I, Justin, decided to have a sleepover at Andrew's new place. As planned, I arrived at his place 8 at night. We did our assignments and then Andrew suggested grabbing a meal from a nearby restaurant. But before we left the house, Andrew's father asked us to give him a hand in settling the furniture, as Andrew's family had just moved in this new town. I picked the box and so did Andrew. We dropped the box in the basement. As I went out of the basement, I noticed Andrew was not with me. I went back to see Andrew and saw him standing at the corner of basement, with his head continuously tapping on the large antique cabinet in the corner of the basement. He was continuously muttering a non-native language in a heavily wicked and devilish voice. When I caught the sight of this scene, I got terrified. I shouted in a trembling voice, "Andrew, it's not safe down there, let's go." He did not respond. Gathering all the courage I had left, I fearfully approached Andrew, placed my shaky hand on the left shoulder of Andrew. He swiftly turned towards me and said, "Where were you, Justin? See what I found, it's like an antique locket. See how beautiful it is." Suddenly, he was casual like before. It was like nothing happened. I tried to inquire why he was banging his head on the cabinet, but he denied everything and insisted that nothing happened. Andrew's father came and saw us arguing. "What is it in your hand, Andrew?" he asked inquisitively. He took the locket in his hand. I advised them not to touch such things as they are typically cursed and can have adverse effects. But they ignored me. Andrew's father then thanked us and said, "Why don't you guys get something to eat? I have heard about a restaurant nearby. You guys will have a quality time there." So Andrew and I left for a walk towards the restaurant. It was a cold and chilly night. Fog smeared all over the streets, spreading till the limits of vision. Darkness penetrated all over the town as if light isn't invented yet. It has been a mile of walk, and Andrew and I were just silently ambling. Meanwhile we were walking, a dog crossed our way and started barking on us. I tried to calm the dog down, but Andrew asked me to leave it. I argued that the dog seems in pain, it needs help. Then Andrew said, "I will guide the dog towards the jungle." He took the dog into the bushes, and the barking started to fade away until all gone. Andrew came out of the bushes and said, "Don't worry, the dog is at peace now." After another 10 minutes of walk, we reached the restaurant. We were waiting to place the order when I saw a tall lady, with its messy hairs hanging all over her body. She was just behind the back of Andrew, and outside the glass wall of restaurant. She continuously stared and frowned upon Andrew, and she seemed out of breath. I was flabbergasted by this sight, and asked Andrew to look behind, but all of a sudden she was gone. He tried to calm me with the excuse that we have been working for so long. It must be a glitch of your senses, nothing more than that. The moment I stepped inside the restaurant, I experienced unusual and bizarre feelings. The noiseless environment was like shouting at us to run away. Only one employee was present, and that employee also seemed feared by his presence there. I asked, "What is the matter with this town? Why this town feels deserted?" He replied in trembling voice, "You are unfortunate that you are here. The longer you stay in this town, the lesser is the chance for you to survive the cult of the tall lady. She lived in the house in this town. She, along with her family, was burnt dead in the fire that took down her house. From that day she cursed this town with the demonic cults. No life is possible in this town till her curse diminishes. I have heard that her house was renovated, and someone has just moved in that house. They will die. They will be wretched. They will. And suddenly, he fainted while telling the cult story of the town. Andrew and I sprinkled water on him and woke him up. Andrew asked him, "If this town is dangerous, then why are you here?" He replied, "This restaurant is slightly out of this town. That's why I am surviving here, as it is important for me to earn my living here." I pointed toward Andrew and told the restaurant employee that he is the one whose family has moved into that house you were talking about, and nothing is wrong with them, so just calm down. It was just a matter of time when I told this to the employee and he mysteriously started choking. His eyes were filled with horror. I got worried and tried my best to help the employee, but suddenly he stopped, pointed towards Andrew, told me to run, and he took his last breath. Andrew seemed displeased. Andrew was looking abnormally calm and quiet. His silence was frightening me. I could not believe what just happened and asked Andrew to call his father, but he resisted. All of a sudden, I caught the sight of that demonic locket hanging on the neck of Andrew. I lost my consciences and ran out of the restaurant. I ran and ran till I reached the place where I saw the dog previously and observed the dog torn apart and wet with blood on the side of the road. I shouted with fear. Andrew appeared out of nowhere and he gazed at the dog and kept saying, I relieved all of his pain. I started running again and unintentionally went to the basement again. I hid in a place and started looking at the stairs to see if someone enters the basement. The locket toppled over the stairs and fell on the floor. Behind it was the tall lady. She advanced towards me. I took the hammer and banged on the locket. The lady screamed with pain and I ran out of the basement and ran till I got fainted outside the premises of the town. I opened my eyes in the hospital and got the heart-wrenching news of tragic death of the restaurant employee. Andrew's family was declared dead on the same day. Andrew's body was not found, and his whereabouts are unknown till date. The town is now left deserted. No one ever lived in that town after the incident.